Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to High Heels Happy Hour.
And I am Ingrid.
You are Ingrid, and I am Christina. And with us in our tiny studio is Chance the dog at our feet. So heavy breathing is not us; it could be him.
Yes, he's
Yes.
doing really good right now.
Yes, he's been being a good boy. A little bit of a mama's boy, but good boy.
He is. He's so cute, though. So let's check in.
Yes.
Yes.
How was your week?
So week was good.
Yep, we're in the holiday season.
Holiday season.
Yep.
And I got to see. You know what? I got to see my battle buddy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
That's fun.
it's the young lady, because we're in our 40s now, that I spent in my time in Iraq with. So it
Yeah.
was kind of nice to see her, and we've been friends for 22 years.
That's cool. Yeah.
So it was really nice to see her children, and we got to talk. And we don't talk much during the year,
Mhm.
but we catch up. Like we pick up where we left off.
That's nice.
So
Yeah.
it was really nice to see her. So how about you?
Well, I got to see my battle buddy, but it was more my Battle of New York City buddy. But we've also known each
That's
other
right.
for 22 years. My friend Chipa was in town with her family, and that's fun because it's kind of, we have a tradition of celebrating Thanksgiving together. So that's really fun. And also, I had a full week of no Dancing with Vera Star stuff. So
You and I both.
we're on the other yes, we're on the other side of that now. And no, I did not win. But that's okay. We were very proud of what we did. We created a little controversy. And Team Christmas is very upset. Fans.
Yes, but rightfully
I have friends that are
so.
more upset than I am that we didn't win. So
I mean,
that's very
I
funny
haven't posted
to
the
me.
video because it's obvious we were upset.
Yes, we were upset.
I have to
Yes, we had
do a
some.
voiceover.
Ingrid recorded, and there were some swear words.
Yeah.
When the judges. Yeah, we had a little issue. Note to self: don't correct the judge. So he said mambo, I said salsa, and
Yeah.
I felt.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, you're Swedish.
It doesn't matter, but
No,
he
but I
said me
mean-
wrong. I mean, I'm an amateur. That anyway doesn't matter. But it was so nice to not have to worry about fundraising or dancing or being nervous for a whole week.
You
Very
did
nice.
really great.
Thank you. I think we did really great. I think we had
You busted out some badass,
pretty badass moves.
salsa moves.
I will say I had someone who reached out for me to us on social media asking me if I could teach dance. So there you go.
Hey,
I said no.
you could have at least,
But we might do some fun things, my partner and I, going forward, that might involve other people too. He might do some classes for us.
Huh?
So stay tuned. But it's over, and it's really nice being on the other side of it. It was a great experience, but now it feels like I got my life back.
I bet.
So
it's a lot of work.
It was nice, and holidays were great. Or first number of the holidays, Thanksgiving. When we record this, we've just had Thanksgiving, so it was good.
Yes.
Now, do we have a hack?
So my hack is not to be to be selfish.
Oh,
So growing up, I don't know how you grew up, which I didn't even ask you, which is now going to be a fair answer when you answer this.
okay.
So we're brought up to, serve everybody first or get everybody ready first. So we take a shower last, we get ready last.
Do you
eat
mean
last.
as women?
Women, yes.
Okay.
As women.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, don't do that. Get ready first. I mean, serving, I can see because, you want to make sure everybody gets served for food. But we always take care of others a lot better, a lot more than what we do take care of ourselves. And I feel like we need to really be selfish. It's not a bad thing to be.
I think as your children gets older, it's not as much a thing. I mean, when they're small, you need to kind of, and it's usually the woman that does that. But I think as my kids have gone older and they fend for themselves, I'm like, "Psh, I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm not
Which
gonna
is
wait."
usually what happens, but studies have shown that we forget sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
and we get so beat up when they're little
Hmm.
that we are exhausted by the time they get older, and
Hmm.
you're like, "Oh, well, they now I can do whatever I want." Whereas I think we should start doing that when
Yeah.
they're
No,
smaller or
that's true.
younger.
That's a good
So,
habit. We're talking about habits today, so that is a good habit not just to do when they're
yeah.
little.
How about you?
Okay, so mine is now performance related. First of all, don't correct the judge if you're being judged in anything.
Ah.
No, but I got a great tip. And this is not just for dancing, but if you're on a stage or speaking in front of people in a
Mm.
room and you're nervous about where to look, especially if you're on a stage where it's dark in the rest of the theater room, which it is sometimes
Oh,
when you do
yeah.
speeches, like when we did TED Talks. But any kind of speaking engagement you have, and you're worried about posture, you're worried about where you're going to look for the exit signs in the back of the, because they're always in the back of the room and they're up high. So you're automatically raising your head.
Oh,
You're not looking down. You're raising your head. That way you project sound better too if you're speaking. But it also makes you look more confident, and you kind of not just looking at the people in the front row, because that's something. And I don't know how many speakers I've seen that concentrate on just one or two people, and it feels like
that's
that's
all they're talking
that's
to.
all they're talking to.
Yeah.
So look for the exit signs. Also good if something happens, then you know where they're
Yes,
at.
as long as the exit signs are not behind you.
Yes, that is true on the airplane.
Yes.
And that is thanks to my friend Tara Schweitzer, who was an actual New York City Rockette at one point.
Oh, I'm thinking of going to go see them.
So yeah, so she
Huh.
was in the Rockettes, and she gave me that tip before the dancing. I thought, oh, that's great.
Oh, I just thought since I was sitting all the way in the back, you were just looking at me.
Sure, that
Ha!
was it. That was it. All right. So today, we are going to talk about habits, and more importantly, habits of successful people, because that's where we all want to be. But I thought this is such a good subject this time of the year, because this is when we start making goals and plans and resolutions. It's also the time to, reflect on the year that has been. But instead of doing goal setting, why not do habit setting?
Mm.
And my thought process behind that is, so goals are good, especially if they're smart goals, they're measurable and all that. Um, but if you do very often when the goal doesn't seem to be anywhere near, or it changes, all the good habits that maybe came with it disappear too.
Yeah.
So I think instead of just going for the goal and then creating the habits, why not create the habits that could potentially lead to a much bigger, better goal? Because, and even if you don't reach all the way there, the habits, good habits are never in vain. So I want to talk about um, great habits of successful people today. And are we all going to do all of them?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no.
We can't. Well, or I mean, most of us don't have bandwidth for all of them, or not good at them. Which you will notice, Ingrid, there are some that you might not be so good at,
Hey,
that you might have to
this
work
is
more at.
what happened to
Hold
like
on, hold
being
on.
nice.
It's all nice.
Oh
So this is
my.
for us to point out the things that we are doing already. It's not a habit that we need to work on. The ones that we might have issues with.
No, not issues, dilemmas.
Dilemmas.
Obstacles?
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Those
Issues.
are the ones that we're gonna work
All right.
towards. So habit stacking is a great. Those of you that haven't read Atomic Habits, have you finished that book
Not
yet?
yet.
Okay, it's time for you to finish
Yes.
that book. It's a great book by James Clear, and talks about habit stacking. It's when you have one habit and you attach another habit to it. So some of these are definitely stackable. But I think it's a great, and the list is not something we just came up with, or I came up with. It's a combination of a lot of different kind of research and knowledge. Some of it is also from our training in Mary Kay. We did a lot of on habits and successful.
We got really good training.
We did really good training. I'm sure there are a lot of direct sales. That's why I say all, especially women, since this was for females, should have a direct sales business at some point, because they have such great training, most of them, because they've gone through things and they know things. And it's
I learned a lot.
Yes, learned a lot. All right, I'll be ready to dive into my list of successful habits.
Yes.
All right. Number 1. So successful people get up early in the morning. So, and why is because they then have time for themselves before the work starts. And of course, sometimes you work in time zones where you have to, but it is a time for reflection, mindset, sometimes meditation, whatever it is. Getting up early, getting into that routine is a typical habit of successful people. They don't sleep until noon. And you're good at it. You just need to work on the sleeping part, but you're good at the getting up part.
Getting up, yes. I like to work out in the morning.
Well, we get to that. But this is more, even if that's not the first thing you do, that getting up early. Mary Kay called it the 5 a.m. club.
Oh, yes.
I am not in the 5 a.m. club, but I am in the 6 a.m. club.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So, that's number 1. Number 2, successful people move their bodies.
Oh, that's like stackable.
I know.
See, I'm already doing a stackable one.
So you get up and you move your body.
Okay.
So it can be, so anyway, moving their bodies throughout the day as well. Successful people are not what do you call it?
Stationary?
Well, yes, or sitting a lot.
Okay.
So it's either, and we talked about this before, it's parking your car further away from the grocery store. It's getting extra steps in. It's going for a walk. It's exercise. It's all those, the NEAT exercises. If you didn't listen to that episode, go back. But all of those things, they make sure they move their bodies. A lot of successful people also have standing desks, treadmill desks, whatever, because then you get movement in at the same time. Number 3, successful people build solid relationships. So it is what we talked about. Friendships can be family, but sometimes you can't choose them, right? But it's also, it's networking. It's solid relationship within your any area of your life. So it can't not only be through work or networking, but it will be in both sides. So personal and professional relationships.
Those are really important.
Yes. Number 4, successful people plan around their peak performance time. So we'll get in a little more about planning, but it's knowing that if you are at your best in the morning, that's when you put in most of your productive time. So if you're gonna do phone calls or, train people, whatever it is, or if you're going to write something or figure out something, you do it at your peak performance. You don't do it during the times when
you're tired, or you're busy, or you're not.
So you plan your day around your peak performance.
Oh,
Number 5, this is one of the ones that Ingrid are really working on. Successful people set boundaries.
I'm really good at that.
You're getting much better. We talked about that in another episode.
Yeah.
Yes. She is getting better at it.
I'm really great at telling people how to set boundaries.
That's good.
Does that help?
But no, successful people say no a lot. No to things they know they're not good at. and also no to things they know is gonna overwhelm them, or no to things that are just not working in their favor. So if it's working against their habits, if it's working against a goal they have, they're gonna say no.
I like that
Yes,
one.
and it's so that we don't run ourselves ragged, because that's what we do when we say yes to everything. The one suffering is ourselves. All right. Number 6, and this is also something we talk about all the time. Successful people
Oh, yes.
make time for continuous learning. So it can be fun learning, something you're interested in. Maybe you want to learn another language. Maybe you want to learn how to dance the salsa. Uh,
Hint, hint.
yeah. Um, or maybe it's, just for work, continuous learning. Because what is my favorite saying?
If you're not growing, you're dead,
Yes. If you
right?
don't grow, you die. So you always have to expand your mind and your
It's kind of
knowledge.
very drastic.
It is, but it's true.
It is.
And then number 7. So this is in hand and stacking with 6. Successful people make developing themselves a priority. So, meaning you're constantly looking ahead to, okay, so now I've done that. What is my next goal? What is the next phase of my career, life, etc.? What is the plan of action to get there?
And then also with developing, with everything changing, technology, new
Hmm. Yep.
resources, what you did last year
Hmm.
may not work this year
Yes,
due to,
exactly.
I mean, even the lack of stuff
Yeah, and
that we
you
have.
can't just stick your hand in the sand and say, "Oh, I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at technology, whatever it is." Sure, but then you're not gonna
We're
grow,
missing
and you're
out.
not gonna um, be. And of course, we should also talk about what is considered successful. Of course, that changes with all of us.
Everybody,
We have
yeah.
different, but this is in a general principle of success, meaning people that are reaching their goals, that are living the life they want to live.
Yes.
And it could be monetary, it could be all of the above. Okay, we are down to number 8. Very important. Touched on this a little bit. Successful people are great at organizing, prioritizing, and time management.
That should be like 8A, 8B, and 8C.
Well, they all kind of go hand in hand. And when you're good at one, you're usually good at the other two. It's
Hmm.
very hard to be good at time management but suck at organizing. No, you that they usually go hand in hand. People
Mhm.
that are organizers know how to prioritize, and they also know how to, because time management is kind of very important within organization. So this might be one that
Ingrid is
Ingrid
Ingrid.
might need to work a little bit on that one.
I mean, I'm not. I will tell you, I am great at none of them. It's
So,
okay.
but the good news is, if you get good at one, you get good at all of them.
You know what? There's hope. I
There
like
is
that.
hope.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yes. Okay. Number, I think this one you're very good at. Successful people don't take no for an answer.
See, I don't say no a whole lot, but I don't take them either.
No, but you need to keep doing, not taking them, but maybe not giving them so much, or give them more.
Did you hear her answer?
Yes.
She said no.
I said no. See, I'm really good at saying no.
Yes. Oh my
But no,
gosh.
but they don't take no for an answer, meaning you don't have to be obnoxious, like constantly going back to people that have said no. But instead of taking that first no, because that's, as we know, it could be a maybe, they are resilient, meaning, okay, I'm gonna try. There's another angle here we can work out that maybe works out for both of us. And I think that you're very good at
I
that.
concur.
Yeah.
And my children have figured
Mhm.
that out,
Mm,
especially Marcelo.
mhm,
He is very,
mm.
very resilient. He's like, so mom, he'll ask me the same question, probably 4 different ways. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
already know I asked you this instead.
Ah,
And I said, well, it
okay.
means the same thing. He's like, yeah, but maybe you'll say yes. And eventually he works
He thinks
out,
he's gonna wear you down?
yes.
So that's something of course, nothing is more, annoying than people that are trying to wear you down.
Well, okay, so this
He's a child.
well,
I'm
he's
saying
no, no, but
grown-ups.
there is a fine line to that
Yes, yes,
because a lot of people think about like a when you go annoying car salesman,
yes.
or there's a difference between if you are aware of being pushy,
Mhm.
then you're not going to be pushy.
No, if you're worried about being pushy, you're
Worried
not
and
gonna be
aware.
pushy.
I mean, it's really difficult because I've asked people more than once,
Mhm,
and you know, it's in the way you
mhm.
ask
Yeah,
and the energy you go to
absolutely,
ask. So I don't
absolutely. It
ever
could be the
feel
time
bad.
you ask, it could be just the circumstance, yeah. So no, but resilience, I think, is a really good trait to have.
Oh yay, go
Yes.
Ingrid.
Go Ingrid.
All right.
All right, number 10. Successful people engage in philanthropy, volunteering, or charitable contributions.
Mhm.
So it could be that maybe you're someone who have money and you donate a lot. If you don't have money, maybe you have time and you volunteer, and then but somehow engage in philanthropy with time or money um, is a general trait, and I think it's humbling, and it's I mean I think I did my part of philanthropy this year. But it is good because it's you're doing things not for yourself but with someone else or another organization, another group of people
Mhm.
in mind, and that is very important.
It is.
We can't just be our the stars of our own universe all the time. We need to
No.
make put
And
other
it
people
feels
in,
good too.
it does, and I think I mean, people have said that over and over. Giving often is feels so much better than receiving. I mean, it's the whole thing of knowing that
Mhm.
you've yeah, it's like Christmas. I love giving gifts because I love to see the
Expression.
expression
Yeah.
and the the yeah how it's received. Uh, Number 11, they successful people are great at celebrating their successes and the successes of others. Meaning not being annoying winners and just go, woohoo, but really celebrate the people around you that are successful as well. Um, yeah, I think I need to. I've said that before too. I need to be better at celebrating my own successes because I'm kind of like, okay, move on next. Um,
But we've talked about it. I think
yeah,
it's a cultural thing.
it can be, but I think I can work on that.
No, I think it is a cultural thing,
It
but
is. Yes.
you can break that cycle.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh, Number 12. Successful people have positive mindset. So, and of course, it's easier to say to be positive or not, but we all know some real grumpy people that always see worst case scenario and everything. And that's quite exhausting. And they're usually not the most successful ones.
No.
And
And
with,
sometimes they are, and you wonder why or how.
well, it's rare.
Yeah.
I think with positive mindset comes a level of gratitude. If you're
Mm.
seeing kind of the positive in things, it automatically gives gratitude towards, you know, what the outcome is going to be or the situation is going to be. So yeah, and we all know people that are being around negative people is so draining. It's so draining. So really,
No,
yeah,
I'm a little smiley because sometimes just because I'll go to that person and I'm like, so what's the worst case scenario?
yeah,
Just to hear it, and I'm like, okay, well that's not gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
yeah.
And it's like it's really um I can't even think of the word. It's really astonishing
Mhm.
how they think.
Yeah.
Like, when you really ask someone, "What's the worst case scenario?" It's really bad. And I'm like, "How do you
How do
think?"
you even go there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be super, always everything's great,
Yeah,
but
you gotta
it's
be
just
realistic.
yes.
But yeah, no, I think I'm a born not born pessimist. What do you call it? Born positivist.
Huh?
What is being a pessimist? What is
Uh,
the opposite of that?
not
Being
pessimist.
you're being positive, but is there a word for that?
I think just being
Op-
positive.
Optimist.
Optimistic.
Oh, there we
Optimistic.
go. So English for as a second language.
Me as a
Optimist
first,
or
I couldn't figure it
pessimist?
out. Oh, that's
Uh,
so funny.
yeah, that's a good one. We should make something out of that little soundbite. So when you're positivist, when you're an
Ah,
optimist versus a negative,
optimistic.
yes. So yes, they have a positive mindset. They're optimistic. Okay, number 13.
Ooh, ooh.
If successful
She's
people.
okay. Do you all see how she's looking at me? Oh, I think she just pierced my
This
soul.
is something I will say I'm super good at. They successful people practice discipline and consistency. Meaning you don't give yourself excuses and you do it no matter what. And I will say that's something I'm really good at. I never have to talk myself into, because if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen. And I stick with it. I could stick with stuff for years, sometimes maybe too long. Notice it didn't work, but no, I am.
I'm somewhat depending on what it is. Sometimes um I'll stick with it. Sometimes I do a lot of things that make me feel uncomfortable for a reason. And I think that goes back to the growth factor. There's a lot of things that I'm just like, you know what? I don't.
Yeah, but that's not has nothing to do with consistency and discipline.
Yes, it is doing
No,
something that you
no, that's
don't want
getting
to.
yourself to grow. But discipline is doing something, sticking with something because you said you were going to do it.
Well, that I do. Her look seems to be a little differ.
No, no, not gonna say anything.
I think I do. Okay. Well, maybe I
But
know.
consistency again, it's also key that you really, because a lot of people try for a week, and it didn't work. It didn't work, and then they move on
Hmm.
to the next thing. So consistency is key. All right, number 14. Successful people are effective communicators, meaning they are great at getting their points across quickly and don't have to use tons of words, but they're also really good writers, good speakers, knowing, which apparently we're not today. But
Positivist.
no, but being, and it's also being a good communicator is also super important when you build relationships.
Yes.
Because if you don't explain to people what it is you're trying to achieve or how you feel about something, that causes so many
Conflict.
yes, conflicts and yeah.
So if you don't communicate with consistency, you create conflict.
There you go. See
Ha!
how it's all stacking on top of each
I
other.
love it.
Number 15. Successful people are great at financial management,
Makes sense.
meaning they are frugal with their finances, they budget effectively, and they invest wisely. So, yeah, just because maybe you're seen as successful and monetary wise, that rich, um, people that have created their own wealth are usually very smart with their money.
That is true.
That people win the lottery are not as smart.
No, they usually end up
Broke,
and
more broke than when they
bankrupt.
started.
Yeah.
So yes, it's an area where I didn't used to be interested as I was younger. Well, maybe that's all of us, but something I tried to instill. I can't come up with any words. what do you say?
It's
Instill in my
yes.
children financial management and to think a little further ahead. And what seems like maybe today they didn't seem like they should invest. Who cares? Who cares about 20 years from now? But I'm working on that. I think I'm one is good. We're working on the second one. She likes to spend.
So do
Shocker.
you like to spend?
I like to spend, but never only to a certain degree. Not money. I don't spend on credit cards. I don't spend money I don't have. If I have the money and it's something, yeah, I can spend on certain things, but I'm pretty frugal.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn the not so much the management, but
Mhm.
the investing.
Yeah.
Because I grew up not having too much.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to set the kids up,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
children
No,
up to be a little
it's important for
smarter.
them to see, and it teaches the value of money too. That
Yes.
it doesn't grow on trees because it
Wouldn't it be
definitely
nice?
does not.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have the last one,
Mm.
number 16. Successful people are adaptable. So again, we talked about learning new things, growing. It's all about that. You got to know how to adapt to situations. You can't be too bullheaded and just do it your way because um, that doesn't work in combination in your relationships to others
Mhm.
or in any of the
That I can say I've gotten a lot better at.
mhm.
I can,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
me too. I think I was more set in my ways.
No.
Yes. I think I have gotten pretty good at
Yeah, you've gotten
rolling
better.
with the flow better.
Yeah, and it's good. It's often when you're working, when you're in business or have a business or work
Mhm.
with more than one person,
Yeah.
you you almost have to be adaptable
Yeah.
because you're working with
Yeah, otherwise
so
you're
many.
it's gonna be exhausting.
Very.
Yeah.
But I mean, and once you figure out how to work with people, it's
Mhm.
actually pretty fun because
Yeah.
then you don't really waste your time on doing something that.
But I think also adaptability is again within that comfort,
Mhm.
stepping out of your comfort zone. Because of course it's way more comforting to do something the way you've always done it.
Yes.
You know what to expect and you know what's gonna happen. But it's when you're thrown out of that and have to adapt to a different situation that you really
What did
learn.
they say? They taught us the rubber band.
Yeah,
You know
which we
how
talked about that before. I didn't like that analogy.
you didn't?
No, because
Obviously, I
the
do.
rubber band, well, so the rubber band, they say it keeps expanding, expanding, then it's not going to bounce back. Well, I don't like
Not about
that.
bent. Well, I guess so.
I
So
said
I
because
like it.
rubber
She
bands
doesn't
takes
like it.
forever before it bounces back. So I
Well, you
like
don't
it
want it to
that.
bounce back. You just want to expand and
Yeah, but
grow.
it does. It bounces back before you get it to not bounce back.
You know why? Because you have to have consistency and
No,
discipline.
I like things that don't bounce back right away.
Well, I am going to
See my point?
agree to disagree. That's okay though,
Okay.
because together we're two different peas in a pod that
Yeah,
make things work
that's
perfectly fine.
right. That's right.
So, all in all, is good.
Yeah, so we all have areas where we can be a little better. So for the
Yes.
new year, instead of just looking at goals for next year, what are the habits that you want to adapt, that you want to stay consistent with, and that you want to, yeah, bring into your world for next year that will create bigger goals, better outcomes? Because none of this stuff, regardless of what your goals are, none of it is working against it. These are
No. Mm-mm.
all healthy, great habits that some of them are a little hard if you're not naturally born with it or had to um, adapt, for instance. Some people never had to adapt. That's hard to start right away, but we can all do a little bit better, right?
I think so. And if you
Yeah.
want big goals, come with
Yeah.
bigger habits.
Yeah. So look at the habits that you want to adapt for next. That's my call to action. Look at the habits from those 16 that you want to adapt, and then work on the goals that you think you might achieve when you have adapted these new habits.
Well, I figured out the ones I have to work on, and you probably know a few.
Yes.
We both have some we can work on.
Yes. Because otherwise, if we don't grow, we die. So there you go.
Till next time.
Until next time, I'm with my water today. Cheers.